What's going on, guys? Got a video about some reflections that I've done that really helped, and I hope they help you. The reflection is the thing you love the most is the thing that holds you back the most. Let me explain what I mean by that. When I was coming up in the early 20s, so this was over a decade ago now, I had these beliefs about the world, and I thought that I had to change the world to my liking in order to be successful. And so I'll give you an example. Was I thought that making money was evil, even though I never said it. I thought that charging people for a service that I could do for cheaper and making a profit on it was somewhat somehow wrong. And that a lot of that came from of course studying sociology and whatnot. So I had some liberal ideas, let's say. And again, there's nothing wrong with liberal ideas. It is something wrong with liberal ideas or conservative ideas when they start to inhibit the way your growth goes, and also it fragmented me. And what I mean by fragmentation is it put me at odds with myself. I wanted to be successful, but the ideas and the knowledge that I needed to gain, I did not want to accept because I thought that those things were evil. So, so I wanted to hold on to this idea that I knew that I was right, that these ideas that I learned in school and these socialist ideas or whatever were, I had to prove the world wrong and myself right instead of being a neutral party learning either way. So essentially I had to sacrifice my ideas in order to grow. But I loved my ideas. They were my identity. I was an intellectual. I was I wanted to be a philosopher, right? I wanted to be somebody in the very sense of the word philosopher. I wanted to be somebody that pursued wisdom. That's what philosophy means, a lover of wisdom. And because that was dear to me, I thought, at least, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that my philosophy was flawed, right? It was, I had to believe the world to be a certain way, and I wanted to change the world to my liking rather than me changing to the world's liking or the way the world is. So that was something I wasn't willing to do, and when I wasn't willing to do that, I had to struggle. I struggled at being at odds with myself. Another one was my friends. I wanted to have a good social circle. I wanted to have work-life balance. I didn't want to be like some of the people that I saw, some of my family members who had done well financially, that did not have a social circle. So I'm like, oh, forget those guys. I'm going to do it while keeping my friend circle. And some of our friends were not going anywhere. I mean, truthfully, they were guys that were interested in partying and having fun and, working a job. But I mean, they really didn't have any grand plans. And I thought that was just fine because they were good people. And they were good people. But except the fact that they didn't have any ambition. So they didn't challenge me. And I love them because they didn't challenge me. And by the way, it's a lot easier to stand next to someone who doesn't have their life together than it is to stand next to somebody who does have their life together. So I had to sacrifice my friends, not literally, I mean, just sacrifice my friendship with them in order to get to the next level. And all that said, in a long way to cut to the chase, which is maybe the reason you're not growing in life is because you're unwilling to sacrifice the thing that you love most. Now, they may not be the thing that's standing between you and your success, but maybe, and oftentimes it is. Oftentimes, you don't need to look way out there to see why you're not succeeding. Why do I keep being stuck in this mud? Well, it's the thing that's right next to me that's actually the problem. It's not that thing way out there. It's not that dude that I just saw. It's not my boss. It's not the dude in traffic, right? It's the thing inside. And oftentimes, it's so close, it's inside of you. Sometimes it's in your house, but most often it's even inside of your body. It's the thing that you love most. It's your hobby. It's your belief. It's your habit of drinking coffee or alcohol, right? It's the habit of unwilling to sacrifice this identity that you have built, that you're unwilling to let go of. I was talking to one of my friends who does some consulting work, and he wants to also grow his business. And I said, he said, I am torn because I know what I have to do, but I just can't get myself to pick one. I can't do both. And this is something he had been reflecting on for a year. And by the way, if you think you know this person, you probably don't, because this can apply to a lot of people, so I'm not going to tell you who it is. But this specific person said, the reason I struggled with this is because I had two separate identities I was upkeeping. And I knew that one of those identities had to die for the other one to thrive. Well, do you have two different identities? Do you have multiple personalities and facades that you have to upkeep? Because if you do, I swear to you that it's gonna take you out. A person living one life will always beat a person living two, three, or four, irrespective of talent. And to say nothing of finding peace. So I encourage you guys to integrate and to not fragment. And I encourage you all, specifically if you're watching this video about finding happiness and peace and success and getting ahead, I encourage you to look at the things that you admire, the things that you love, and think about those things. And I've said this over and over again. Mark Twain said once that it's not the things that we don't know that get us in trouble. It's the things that we know that just ain't so. The things aren't the reality. It's what you believe so vehemently with such passion that is getting in the way of things, because sometimes those things are not even true and you believe them to be true. You've built your whole foundation of your world on it. And sometimes that's the very issue. And that's often the case with things like money. You think money is here for enjoyment. That's why you don't have any. Money's not here for enjoyment. It's a tool. It's just as much as you thinking a screwdriver is a toy. It's not a toy, it's a tool. You use it, you put it away. All right? You don't grab it and play with it. That's not a toy. You're gonna hurt yourself. Same thing with money. You don't play with money. It's not for your enjoyment. It's time. It's traded time. The value of money is time. You trade time for money. Therefore, money is your time stored in a piece of paper or your bank account or whatever. And until you understand that, you're not going to value money for what it is, which is a tool. So eventually you can buy back your time with assets. I hope that's helpful, guys. Again, do not let yourself get in the way of things. What you love most is sometimes the thing that holds you back the most, and it's usually something inside. It's not in other people. I hope that helps, guys. See you in the next one.